Getting a little tired of hearing how great saintly people are. By Krishna's mercy. Evam prakriti vaichitriyad भिद्यन्ते मतयो नृणाम पारम्पर्येण केषाञ्चित् पाषण्ड मतयो परे. Quote, due to the great variety of desires and natures among human beings, there are many different theistic philosophies of life, which are handed down through tradition, custom, and disciplic succession. There are other teachers who directly support atheistic viewpoints. Lord Krishna, Shrimad Bhagavatam 11.14.8.
One of the things I often hear from followers of the Bhakti Yoga tradition in connection with Parampara is that there is nothing which compares to the association of devotees. There is high praise in this area. To describe it as effusive is not doing it justice. It is like these people are giving over everything to the one who taught them, to the one who showed them the light, to the one who rescued them from despair, sadness, and perpetual melancholy. What I am trying to say is that these are not words uttered in mere passing. These people say that from a single moment of association with a saintly person, everything can change. It is like a chance encounter with a celebrity on the street. Perhaps an aspiring comedian runs into someone who is established in the field. The important person only has a few moments to talk, but within that short conversation, they offer life-changing advice, such that the aspiring entertainer later goes on to become a leader in their industry. Listen, it is nice to hear people being appreciative. I understand that they are exhibiting the behaviour of the Brahmana, which is in contrast to the Kripana. These people are liberal in their ways instead of miserly. I think there should be more appreciation for teachers. We should show respect to the saintly who have chosen a different path in life. The question that will eventually manifest relates to the substance. With respect to the saintly person, can you back up your claim? We need support. We get it that you really like this person, that you are so happy to have met them. But what has really changed? Why is that association so valuable? You need to provide some specifics. Otherwise, there is resemblance to idol worship. Countless people throughout history have been burned by following blindly. I could cite one example after another, such that you would feel embarrassed in ever voicing such allegiance again. Tulyam lavenapi, na swargam na punarbhavam, bhagavad sangi sangasya, martyanam kim utashishah. Quote, the value of a moment's association with a devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter, and what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which is for those who are meant for death. Shrimad Bhagavatam 1:18-13.
An easy way to understand the science to the praise, to really know why someone would put such a high value on association, whether brief or extended, is to study the other side. Consider the other kinds of association we receive. Think of the many things people are selling us: philosophies, ways of life, interests, physical products. In Bhagavad Puran, Sri Krishna describes that there are so many of these interests that they can even fall onto the side of atheism. They are like highly specialized versions of Dharma or derivatives, in the sense that there is a leader, a tradition, a systematic method of implementation to follow, and an end goal. Some of these dharmas have roots in real religion, which is the actual dharma. Some are made up. Some are created due to the needs of the time. Some are tailored to the qualities of a specific population. Dharmameke yashaschanye kamam satyam damam shamam. Anye vadanti swartham va aishwaryam tyagabhojanam. Kechid yagyam tapodanam vratani niyaman yaman. Quote, some say that people will be happy by performing pious religious activities. Others say that happiness is attained through fame, sense gratification, truthfulness, self-control, peace, self-interest, political influence, opulence, renunciation, consumption, sacrifice, penance, charity, vows, regulated duties, or strict disciplinary regulation. Each process has its proponents. Lord Krishna, Shrimad Bhagavatam 11.14.10. At this point, we might expect the follower of Bhakti Yoga to say that the above-mentioned paths are all bogus and that they lead to nowhere. The truth is that a person can find great success in these paths. There is history to support the claim. We have examples like Hiranyakashipu and Ravan following a certain kind of dharma to reach the summit of power and influence. Their objective from the very beginning was world domination. They ended up reaching that goal. They achieved what they set out to do. Their system of positive and negative action, pravritti and nivritti, was successful, Safala. The difference is in the aftermath. No one is happy. We meet someone who teaches us a new way to eat and exercise. We end up losing a lot of weight. We have more energy throughout the day. Our chronic health problems are a thing of the past. The question is happiness. Do we have direction in life? Is there fulfillment? Goswami Tulsidas correctly characterizes this world as Shokdham. We are in something like a resting place, a targeted destination, which has only grief, shoka. The grief applies to every resident of that dharma, whether rich or poor, whether man or woman, whether living or dying. तब लगी कुशल न जीव कहूँ सपने हूँ मन विश्राम जब लगी भजत न राम कहूँ शोक धाम तजिकाम. Quote, for as long as there is not devotion to Sri Rama and the release of material desires, which are like an abode of grief, the living being should not expect to find welfare and peace of mind, even in a dream. Dohavali 131. The shoka can only be removed through devotion to the Supreme Lord. This is the one dharma, from which all others are derived. This devotion is the end goal. It is also the beginning. It is the eternal way of living for the eternally existing spirit soul. This devotion is Sanatana Dharma. Quote, one can change his habit by good or bad association, and one has to become intelligent enough to discriminate between good and bad. The best association is the service of the devotees of the Lord, and by that association one can become the highest qualified man by the grace of the Lord's pure devotees. Srila Prabhupada, Shrimad Bhagavatam 2.10.41 purport. The person who brings me towards this devotion has really done something for me. They are truly interested in my welfare. The spark of interest might be ignited through only a moment of association. A passing encounter can change my life. I might only accidentally hear the sound of instruction from such a saintly person. Since the subsequent implementation of devotion, Bhakti Yoga, brings me happiness never previously experienced, there is no way to properly put into words the value of that association. It means the world to me and more. Mayyar pitatman, sabhya nirpekshasya sarvat, mayatmana sukham, yattat kutta, syad vishayatmanam. Quote, O learned Uddhava, those who fix their consciousness on me, giving up all material desires, share with me a happiness that cannot possibly be experienced by those engaged in sense gratification. Lord Krishna, Shrimad Bhagavatam 11.14.12. In closing, High praise to receive, but how those words to believe? Blind following to resemble, with false hope to assemble. But think of what others giving, various ways still with grief living. The saint specifically targeting for me, real and lasting happiness to see.